Welcome to Nude Yoga. Oh no, that's tomorrow. Sorry about that. Poetry of Immigrants. And we're featuring the British Isles, Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and maybe a Shakespeare sonnet. I'd like to welcome my co-producer here, Kim Lambert. She runs Ed's Place right down the road in Westbrook. And the Howling Hounds. This is Lou Manzi, Tom McVeary, he's got the hat on for it, Peter McCrane, my neighbor from Madison, and Joe Kavanaugh. Joe's from Guilford, Peter's Madison. You are Cromwell.
That's right.
And Stonington, what a great town.
It is.
So, we're here to welcome you into poetry and music and the symbiotic connection between the two. So, we'll read a few poems and then we'll slip right into a song. And we are as unscripted as they come. So, we're going to enjoy some lyric poetry. And the theme for today is humor, light verse. And that means pretty short and happy. So, I'll start with John O'Donoghue. Born in Ireland, came here and became a mystical lyric poet. And since we welcome immigrants into this show, and immigrants who have written their own poetry and their own original songs, and of course we're all immigrants in the long run. This one is called On Meeting a Stranger. And I'm meeting some of these folks here for the first time today. On meeting a stranger, with respect and reverence that is unknown between us, might flower into discovery and lead us beyond the familiar field, blind with the weed of weariness and the old walls of habit. Westbrook has changed over the last 30 years. Used to sit and have coffee 30 years ago in the old muffin corner and notice not too many immigrants, but moving back to Westbrook 2 years ago opened my eyes to the everyday encounters we have with strangers, and most of them immigrants. I was sitting having coffee this morning, and I asked the waitress, who's new, where are you from? She's a 19-year-old girl from Russia, came here just for the summer to work. Wow. So I stood up and said, Очень приятно познакомиться. У меня хорошее произношение. Do I have good pronunciation?
Really?
She dropped the coffee cup.
Understand you?
And she broke out in the smile. I'm a stranger and I'm just here for the summer and I'm 19 and I know no one, and someone is speaking my language.
Wow, that's super.
It does make a difference in the moment. So, it is June. I'll just read a few opening lines as invocation to the muse of poetry and to the month of June. Knee deep in June, James Whitcomb Riley. Tell you what I like the best. Long about knee deep in June, about the time strawberries melts on the vine. Some afternoon, like to just get out and rest and not work at nothing else. Orchards where I'd rather be, needn't fence it in for me. Just the whole sky overhead and the whole earth underneath, sorta so a man's can breathe like he ought, and kinda has elbow room to keenlessly sprawl out lengthways on the grass where the shadow's thick and soft as the kivers on the bed mother fixes in the loft. Alice, when day's company.
Wow.
That's another tradition. So,
They're blooming now, the strawberries.
they're blooming now.
No, they're growing now, whatever you say.
So, Howling Hounds, welcome. And how did you come up with Howling. I know you came up with hounds because you're always hungry.
You know, we came up with the name after a lot of thought because
Yeah.
we wanted to come up with a kind of cool name that describes our music, which is upbeat and fun.
Yeah.
You know, howling. But you'd be surprised how many names that we came up with already are owned by other groups.
The washboard
Yeah.
stompers. We wanted the stompers as a
Yeah.
as a closing, the
And
stompers.
then I think one day at a rehearsal, Tom said, "What about the hounds?" So we said, "How about the howling hounds?" You know.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
So we're happy with
No, I
that.
also think that was the best way to describe our vocals, is,
Yeah.
howling.
You'll find out pretty soon.
So we are featuring the British Isles today, and a special guest, perfectly appropriate for today's theme, is this gentleman, Lou from Italy. Welcome, Lou.
Well, my family's from Italy. My mom was from southern Italy, Calabria.
Fantastic.
And my dad was first generation, and we had a lot of relatives right from over the ocean.
As all of us. And we're doing Italy in September.
Okay.
So please come back.
Be back then if that's
Oh,
all
then-
right.
Now, didn't you say the mandolin is an Italian
Well,
instrument?
a mandolin, which I'm playing right here, is a very popular instrument in Italy, yes.
And that's what makes that music so mellow and sweet, isn't it?
Thanks, Frank.
Beautiful.
It is a nice
Yeah.
sound,
Yeah. And the old sod, Mr. McBerry. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can't mistake that.
Thank you for.
I'll ask you for your joke later.
Okay, okay.
And Peter McCrame. What part of the British Isles, if any?
Scotland. I think my sister sent me a thing, or in Ireland, Drogheda, right outside of Dublin.
Drogheda.
Drogheda. Or,
Yeah. And how about Liz
outside
Dunvarna?
Yeah,
That-
Liz Dunvarna.
Whoa,
yeah.
that folk festival
Yeah, oh,
every
yeah, it's
year
great, great. We
from
got to
all
see it
over
once.
the world. And whoa, and the beer is flowing. And Joe?
My grandparents, my mother's grandparents came off the boat from Ireland.
Off the boat. Wow. Cool. Thank you, gentlemen. I think that's a cue for Irish music.
We were going to do this song called Midnight Dancing.
Oh, good, good.
That I wrote with Dennis Pratt years ago, and well, here it is. Don't stop the dancing when the fun has just begun. We're on the other side of midnight. It's time to meet the sun. The heavens have performed through the galaxies above. It's time we find the master. The hawk shall fight the dove. The winning hands were played before the cards were dealt. The time of justice comes in the heart where truth is felt. Don't take no belongings, no ticket will they buy. Your master calls you home, so long he's heard you cry. The duty has been paid, your soul is free from tax. Yet there ain't no time for selfishness, no time to relax. So stop the plain excuses, trivialities you can't afford. The thunder and the lightning are the verses of the Lord. Don't stop the dancing when the fun has just begun. The other side of midnight, it's time we meet the sun. Let the mothers call the daughters, fathers call the sons. The lost and long forgotten shall become the chosen ones. The innocence of children, supposedly the key, opens door to righteousness, separates the free. We are the children walking on the land. Brothers and sisters that touch the golden sand. You are the answer in everything you do, to lead a life in truth and all that's here for you. There will come a time, reach your mountain peak, win some level, deliberate when you speak. Don't stop the dancing when the fun has just begun. On the other side of midnight, it's time we meet the sun.
That's an original song, huh, Peter?
Oh yeah, I wrote it in Cheshire, Connecticut,
Oh.
and revamped it here back in I don't know when.
And how about the lyrics? What motivated that?
Well, Dennis had some of the lyrics. He was building a cabin in Holton, Maine.
Uh-huh.
And then I added some lyrics towards to close it out, and I was just in solitude and playing around with it with the music I was listening to, and came up with the chord progression and that, and it's sort of I don't know, what is it, folky or it sort of sounds, does it sound
Both.
like
Yeah.
does it sound like an immigrant song, like immigranti vosatin nah.
Oh.
Right, sort of like that, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Grandma...
Roger was around. We were having a good time, right?
And-
Somebody cooked pasta. You know what I'm saying?
Pasta. And Grandma... Grandma's singing
Grandma
that,
didn't make it. Grandma, I never saw Grandma. She was gone. by
but
the
she
time.
would sing a song like that
Yeah.
as a lullaby,
Yeah.
right? It made me think of an Irish lullaby.
Did it make you think of an Irish?
It really did. And do you stay in a major chord with this, or do you go minor?
It's major, but it has a minor third.
That's what I
or
love.
minor six. Isn't it a minor six? It has a minor fourth too. It's got a minor fourth.
Yeah, that's what I picked up on, because that is sort of a beautiful blend when you switch from major to minor. Like, you are my sunshine, my only, that one. But then that goes into a switch. And the minor key just brings out a whole deep level of emotion. Thank you, Peter.
Oh, thank you for. It's good meeting you in the bagel shop, but when we talked about this, right?
Right. And Peter and I have been close neighbors. In
Hey,
that.
what was that? You said you wanted. I just remember one. If birds of the sea are seagulls,
Yeah.
are birds of the bay bagels?
Bagel show.
I know you were a bagel.
Yeah. And time for your joke, too.
Oh, yes, okay. Well, there was this couple, they'd been married for many years, and they decided that on their anniversary they'd go out and have a nice romantic dinner and had a great time of it. And then they came back home and they sat on the couch, and he broke out the whiskey, And after a while, he started saying, "Honey, I love you so much." And she said, "That's the whiskey talking." He says, "I'm talking to the whiskey."
And pasta with that, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, thank you, Peter.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that. We are doing humorous poetry. Ever heard of the Algonquin Club in New York City?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Dorothy Parker?
Yeah, what a brain she had.
What a brain she had in the 30s. Oh my God. We're going to take you on a little tour of the well-known iconic poets of England and Ireland and Scotland and Wales through Dorothy Parker's eyes. Wow. So
Cool.
it's okay to guffaw, fall off the chair, belly laugh. She calls it a pig's eye view of literature. Okay, so we're going to share, Kim and I, great, the lives and times of John Keats, Percy Bysshe Shelley, and George Gordon Noel, Lord Byron. You've heard of them, of course. Byron and Shelley and Keats were a trio of lyrical treats. The forehead of Shelley was cluttered with curls, and Keats never was a descendant of earls. And Byron walked out with a number of girls, but it didn't impair the poetical feats of Byron and Shelley, of Byron and Shelley, of Byron and Shelley and Keats.
I knew that was coming.
Did you? That's the thing about lyrical poetry. You knew it was coming because it's got rhyme and verse in rhythm.
Yes. I'm going to read something else from Dorothy called Oscar Wilde. If, with the literate, I am impelled to try an epigram, I never seek to take the credit. We all assume that Oscar said it.
Harriet Beecher Stowe. The pure and worthy Mrs. Stowe is one we all are proud to know. As mother, wife, and authoress, thank God I am content with less.
I love this one.
Do you?
D.G. Rossetti.
Dante Gabriel Rossetti
Buried all of his libretti.
thought the matter over, then
Went and dug them up again. And that I did, I had to find out what exactly that was about. And she loved Dante's work, and so she wrote this about him. He was in love with this woman, and when she died, he buried all of his work with her body, and then decided, no, that was a bad idea, and unburied her and took the stuff back.
Didn't know that.
Yeah,
I know he had a really strong love.
yep.
Get her name,
Is
though.
that what he wrote Dante's Inferno after that?
I guess so.
did you guys
Isn't that what the gypsies did with the, to go through, that the red violin? They dug up the red violin, right?
That's a good story.
Egyptians, I think.
No, the gypsies did.
did you guys ever write something and then tear it up and burn it, or bury it in the trunk, or underground in the backyard? I've done that to a poem or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I left my music stand in the back of,
Why?
On
back of the car.
Thank you, Kim. On the bonfire, it was a celebration of summer, solstice, which we're about to face. I have a poem on solstice. So it was a celebration. It was a men's gathering in Albany, New York. And just in the fire of the moment, I got so inspired, I offered it as a sacrifice. And a poet came up to me afterwards and said, you didn't burn the only copy you had, did you? I said, yeah, I really did.
Point, I guess, huh?
I guess that's the point.
Yes.
Wow. No, I can't say that I've ever done that. I think all of us have had songs that we started and we discarded, but no burning.
No burning. Yeah. No solstice dancing in the moonlight. No. Thomas Carlyle. Carlyle combined the literary life with throwing teacups at his wife, remarking rather testily, "Oh, stop your dodging, Mrs. C."
Charles Dickens. Who call him spurious and shoddy shall do it over my lifeless body. I heartily invite such birds to come outside and say those words.
And we're going to skip a few. This is our last. Alfred Lord Tennyson. I'll read the first line. Should heaven send me any son,
I hope he's not like Tennyson.
I'd rather have him play a fiddle.
Then rise and bow and speak an idyll.
There you go. Music's preferred. Thanks. Let's hear it.
Well, my name is Tom McPherry. I wrote this song. It's called Castle of Love. And I think it was around in high school when I wrote it. But I was fascinated with castles, and I was kind of romantic, and so I sort of came up with this song. Hey girl, we live in a castle. The skies are blue and lively. We'll walk through the ivy. Love so true and so alive. Green fields, horses in the pasture. The summer sun will warm you. Love and flowers adorn you. The evening stars will come and shine through. And love's the castle's walls, keeps us safe inside its halls. The love that's there inside those walls keeps us safe inside its halls. Don't stop telling me you love me, before we'll come and bring us all we need. Colors of the rainbows through the trees. You'll be happy living there with me. And love's the castle's walls, keeps us safe inside its halls. The love that's there inside those walls keeps us safe inside its halls. Winter snow falls on the field. We'll sit by the fire with the castle's lyre, playing love songs of desire. Sing love's the castle's walls, keeps us safe inside its halls. The love that's there inside those walls keeps us safe inside its halls. Thank you.
Wow.
Beautiful.
How about falsetto? What does that do for a song? Do you really reach the higher registers emotionally, or is it because you want to cover 2 or 3 octaves with your voice?
Yeah, it's really because it's outside of the regular, tenor voice. It's a little bit high.
Gotcha.
So it's more or less just to kind of make it work type thing.
To make it work.
Yeah,
So you
try to
cover
make it work.
a few octaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice part.
That's a great part. Yeah, the range.
Thank you.
So, we are on an odyssey in the British Isles. There is a poem by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, which probably everybody knows. Sonnets from the Portuguese. Very, very popular. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach, when feeling out of sight for the ends of being and ideal grace. I love thee to the level of everyday's most quiet need. By sun and candlelight, I love thee freely. As men arrive for right, I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seem to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life. And if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death. We're going to take a little break. Breathe deep, and we'll be back in 2 minutes. Thanks.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly,
Disgusting. The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? You know you do. That's why we're here. We're free and here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Picking a college, man. You and us. We go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos. Go to GetSchooled.com.
Every day, the people in our community rally in support of United Way as we strive together to make a big impact to change lives in Middlesex County. From our main streets to our institutions, from our neighborhoods to our town halls and our classrooms, we're working with our partners to create a stronger community. It's an inspiring effort and we invite you to join us. Volunteer, donate, live united.
Welcome back. Yes, we've got some more poetry in verse. Kim's going to read a poem by Gerard Manley Hopkins, who was a Catholic priest who studied for years and struggled with his faith, wrestled with it actually, and wrote so many poems about it. And this is a good one. It's in the affirmation mode, pied beauty, celebrating God's immanence in the world and power of nature.
Okay. Glory be to God for dappled things, for skies of couple colored as a brinded cow, for rose moles all in stipple upon trout that swim, fresh fire coal, chestnut falls, finch's wings, landscape plotted and pieced, fold, fallow, and plow, and all trades, their gear and tackle and trim. All things counter, original, spare, strange, whatever is fickle, freckled, who knows how, with swift, slow, sweet, sour, a dazzled dim, he fathers forth whose beauty is past change. Praise him.
Beautiful. Thanks, Kim. And doesn't it sound musical?
It does.
The repetition of sound, almost as if a song for God in prayer and thanksgiving.
You're right.
Thanks. Gentlemen, what does that bring to mind? Have a song for us.
Well, in keeping with the humorous theme, I think we have a funny song.
Oh.
And we need the yellow washboard on this one.
Oh.
That I can
So
do.
Frank is going to be a member of the Howling Hounds. That's official. We'll have the paperwork.
A
for you.
hungry howling hound.
Hungry Howling Hounds, right. So we are going to be playing a love song.
Thanks, Lou.
It's a love song that struck me one time when I was relaxing around the house. Now, there are plenty of love songs, plenty of love poetry too, right?
Oh, that's it. Poetry, our love songs in there.
So this is a love song I wrote because I love hot dogs. What's for dinner?
Hot dogs and beans.
What's for dinner? Hot
Dogs and beans.
Cook it for me, hun, then put it in a bun. Hot dogs and beans are so much fun. When I'm on a date, I do not hesitate to take my sweetie somewhere nice to dine. I look the menu through, but I start feeling blue when hot dogs are the one thing I can't find. What's for dinner?
Hot dogs and beans.
What's for dinner?
Hot dogs and beans.
Cook it for me, hun, then put it in a bun. Hot dogs and beans are so much fun. It would be a thrill to cook 'em on a grill, or you can fry 'em up in a pan. I eat 'em every day, and all the people say I am the hot dog man. Pork chops, lamb chops, chicken and rice, surf and turf is lobster and a steak. Veggies by the bowl, a nice fillet of sole, but hot dogs are all I ever make. Pork chops, lamb chops, chicken and rice, surf and turf is lobster and a steak. Veggies by the bowl, a nice fillet of sole, but hot dogs are all I ever make. What's for dinner?
Hot dogs and beans.
What's for dinner?
Hot dogs and beans.
Cook it for me, hun, then put it in a bun. Hot dogs and beans are so much fun. You can choose your food depending on your mood. A certain dish may make you rant and rave. But if you're not cooking Frank's, I'll just say no thanks, 'cause hot dogs are the only thing I crave. What's for dinner?
Hot dogs and beans.
What's for dinner?
Hot dogs and beans.
Cook it for me, hun, then put it in a bun. Hot dogs and beans are so much fun. Bravo, buddy! And that's my love
That was
song.
great.
That's a very moving love song.
Thank you.
See, Lou grew up in Staten Island, and they had didn't
Yeah.
they have Nathan's there?
Nathan's was close. Sure. It
Nathan's
close to
was
Brooklyn.
famous for
Original
that,
Nathan's.
right?
Yeah, and I was there many times.
With Kraut?
Yeah.
Always.
Tony and I were there a couple times.
Nathan's.
I don't know, down in New York City.
That's my roots, man.
Is it?
Well, that's nice.
That's really nice. Kim, do you do anything with hot dogs?
Yes. I cook hot dogs.
Good. We're coming right over.
See?
And lobster rolls,
Yep.
best on the shoreline.
Thank you.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, Ed's Place. And the view is bucolic, and if you want to propose to somebody, take them to the outside table at Ed's Place.
Nice.
Yeah, but read a love poem first. Love is lyrical poetry. I mean, that's what happened back in Grecian times. They played the lyre, so lyric from lyre, right? Bang!
Didn't realize that.
Yep, and that's where the music comes from. Short lyrics. This is one that changes the mood completely. It's by Francis Thompson, called The Hound of Heaven, but it's on the religious theme. It's on the theme of
Theme too. Hounds.
Very appropriate.
boing.
Oh, Frank.
There you go.
That's what the show turns into because of synchronicity.
Wow.
We opened to the universe before, and we invoked joy, and synchronicity, and that's how it happens. This is dedicated to you guys. It's a love poem to God, actually. Francis Thompson, 1859-1907, born at Preston, where he studied medicine but failed to pass the examinations. That happens to a lot of poets. The hound of heaven, I fled him down the nights and down the days. I fled him down the arches of the years. I fled him down the labyrinthine ways of my own mind, and in the midst of tears, I hid from him, capital H. And under running laughter, up visted hopes I sped, and shot, participated, adown titanic glooms of chained fears from those strong feet, capital F, that followed after, but with unhurrying chase and unperturbed pace. Deliberate speed, majestic instancy, they beat, and a voice beat, more instant than the feet. All things betray thee, who betrayest me. I pleaded, outlaw-wise, by many a hearted casement, curtain red, trellised, and intervening charities, lest having him I must have naught beside. But if one little casement parted wide, the gust of his approach would clash to it. Fear wist not to be evade, and love wist to pursue. Across the margent of the world I fled, and troubled the gold gateways of the stars, smiting for shelter on the clanged bars. Being chased by God. Wow. So, the hound of heaven merges with the hungry hounds for today. Wow. Got a song for that?
Yeah, if you would, it's called Riding in My Car, I guess. It's not, and it's Riding in My Car. It's not like the NRBQ wrote. It's a song that I wrote.
I thought you were going to say the title is And Riding in My Car, I guess.
I guess. Well, Frank, I could change it to yo-yo here, but here we go. You ready? Hey, Riding in My Car. Here we go. Step inside my automobile. Roll down the window, we gonna take a ride. Turn on the radio, and don't you worry about a thing, we gonna take a ride. I spilled my coffee on the floor on my way to Baltimore. Kinda strange. Early in the morning, about the break of day, sun coming up, we'll be on our way. Got the news, I got the blues, riding in my car. shame. Got the news. I got them blues.
Got the blues.
Riding in my car. Broke down at water's edge.
Really?
It did one time, yeah. I put some in. I bought a sob. It was a sob story.
Now you're cooking.
Yeah, right.
We've got another poem with the Rossetti name. We read one earlier, Christina Rossetti. And here's another song. This is another way of saying a lyric poem. We call them songs in the 19th century especially.
Song. When I am dead, my dearest, sing no sad songs for me. Plant thou no roses at my head, nor shady cypress tree. Be the green grass above me, with showers and dewdrops wet. And if thou wilt, remember, and if thou wilt, forget. I shall not see the shadows, I shall not feel the rain. I shall not hear the nightingale sing on as if in pain. And dreaming through the twilight that doth not rise nor set, happily I may remember and happily may forget.
Thanks, Kim. Isn't this the moment of fusion between the lyrics of a song and the words of a poem? Isn't that about the closest you can get? When it's called a song, it is music, and yet the lyrics and the poem are really the same. So you guys are singing poems, really, and we're reciting lyrics. It's cool. It's really the sister arts. I guess they're closer even than painting and poetry, which we had a show on 2 times ago. Ekphrastic poetry it's called, where poems are written about a painting, a famous painting. Cool. But this brings us together in a symbiosis, which is fantastic. So who are your favorite poets? You remember anybody from high school?
T.S. Eliot.
T.S. Eliot. Wow. Really tough.
I'm not really into poetry too much,
Uh-huh.
but I remember little bits.
And really tough to get through him, isn't it? Do you remember a title of a poem?
Not offhand, no.
Yeah.
It's a while back since I really...
Yeah, T.S. Eliot. 4 quartets. His, see, again, music. 4 quartets. His last poems, which were, I think, the height of his art.
I remember. I believe he was a musician also. Didn't he play violin?
Oh, yeah.
I remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Another fusion. That's so wonderful you remembered that. Everybody's heard of Robert Frost, right?
Sure.
Been talking a lot about God, the love of God. This is a humorous little short poem that Robert Frost wrote. And this is in honor of all our high school English teachers.
Not all there. I turned to speak to God about the world's despair, but to make bad matters worse, I found God wasn't there. God turned to speak to me. Don't anybody laugh. God found I wasn't there, at least not over half.
Yeah, as a poetry student, I was not even half there in high school. Wow. Did you guys play from the beginning? High school, grammar school?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I did from high school.
You played
Yeah.
high school?
I started taking lessons, I think I was about 12, 11 or 12.
I used to march in the parades. I played the baritone. It used to be great.
Really? I didn't know you played
Memorial Day, dressing up in all the garb, and it was even cool in school. We got to get out of class and we'd practice marching around the neighborhood. You know, around was fun. No, it was cool. It was pretty cool. And then the ice cream at the ice cream store, after the parade, the soda shops or whatever, the hot fudge sundae or.
And Joe, grammar school? Wow.
Not on the bass though, I bet. What was your first instrument?
Guitar.
Fantastic. And do some of your songs draw nurturance or sustenance from the early experiences? You ever go back there in memory?
Not only that, I'm still playing songs that I wrote in those days, and I know Tom is also.
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
Definitely corresponds
You get a good one, you keep it.
to experience,
right.
what you go through in life and whatnot. If it's from your own experience and if kind of spiritual in a way.
Yeah.
It means something to you, that way.
And Kim, you told me last show, or the show before that your parents used to read poetry to you when you were a child.
They did. I was lucky.
And that helps with raising the awareness of what's out there for the ear too. It just imprints a wonderful.
It does.
Yeah, let's dip back to Wales for a minute. And Dylan Thomas, he died of acute alcohol poisoning at age 39 at the Chelsea Hotel in New York City on 23rd Street.
Well, there were many people that unfortunately passed away there. Famous people.
Famous people, yeah.
I was famous. I don't think I'd want a room there.
You're right.
Yeah, and who's that other fellow who was the great musician? It'll come to me probably after I read this poem. Who just died like within the last 12 months. Who
It was Dwayne Allman.
Chelsea?
Yeah, the Chelsea.
Greg Allman.
Yeah, Greg Allman.
Oh, Greg Allman just passed away right now. Yeah. But
Leon Russell.
No, but those are good names. Keep them coming.
Within the last year, Prince.
Oh, right. We've lost so many
So many great musicians recently.
lyricists,
Prince, Michael Jackson.
poets, Michael Jackson.
That was a while ago. But
Yeah, that was.
Wow, all up among the stars right now. Dylan Thomas, wow, what a poet. He wrote Under Milkwood, which was a play that Liz and Dick starred in back in the 60s. Under Milkwood was written in 53, and it was so wonderful about Llareggub, which is a little small town in Wales, but don't try to spell it backwards. Wow. He really put the fire under his local neighbors. He wrote a poem that's probably his most famous, and has a kind of Celtic underpinning, as you'll hear in the music. Do not go gentle into that good night. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right. Because their words had forked no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men the last wave by crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned too late they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men near death who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wow, at 39. Thanks.
And
Lou.
that's what he did, I guess, didn't he?
He did, he
He
did.
have some
To the last moment.
life, yeah.
Gentlemen, can we hear your song again? The one that introduced the show?
Sure.
I thank you. I can't tell you when I've had such a good time. Of course, it's your spontaneity too. And this is show number 5, and you've done a really good service for all of our local people who tune in Monday nights at 8 o'clock. And I'll see you at Ed's place for coffee tomorrow.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lou.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.